Point me in. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Elliot Pierre, and this is the Mac City Morning Show. We'll start this off the same way we do every morning with some gratitude. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to tune in to either watch us live and or the pre-recorded versions or the mini clips. There's a million other things you could be doing with your time, and the fact that you choose to spend it with us really does mean the world to me. So on that note, Tanner, hit him with the intro.
What up, boss? Welcome to the Mac City Morning Show.
And we're back. All right, so something that's also pretty formulated into these shows is I never introduce the guest because they can do a better job at saying their name and talking about themselves than I ever will be able to. So on that note, let's meet today's guest. I'm really excited to have her here. Who are you? What do you do? Introduce yourself to the world, please.
I'm Lisa Hartigan. I'm a realtor with Coldwell Banker Fort McMurray.
Okay, right on. Now, Lisa, you've been in this community for a long, long time. So let's talk about your duration of time spent in this community.
Well, actually, I've lived in Fort McMurray for 26 years, but I used to spend my summers here since I was 13 years old when my father moved here. My parents were separated, so I actually grew up in Fort St. John with my mom, but I would spend all my summers in Fort McMurray from 13 going forward. 95 is when I moved here to live and stay.
Okay. Now, in 95, when you moved here, were you still in school? Or were you graduated? What?
No, actually, I had moved here with my former husband, Mike. We both were living in Vancouver at the time. We had gone to school there. So I had actually gone to school to do something people probably don't know about me is that I did special effects makeup for movies and films in Vancouver. And then actually Mike had got a job here with a telecommunications company. So we didn't want to stay in Vancouver. It just wasn't our jive. We were used to small towns, so we wanted to come. So he applied for jobs in Fort McMurray. So we ended up here. So,
cool.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's rewind. Special effects and makeup.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, like, are we talking about like strictly makeup? Or are you doing explosions? What does special effects mean?
Doing, bruising, cuts, things like that. Also, yeah, so I was trained in every level. So between, TV makeup to crazy stuff, doing, mask and creating fun things that you see on fictional movies, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I didn't even know you could go to school for that.
Yeah.
So what's the duration of time you have to spend in school to get in that
I was there
industry?
for 18 months. I went to school there. So obviously you have to go in with a little bit of creativity in your, so it's not something, I always find you can't teach people certain things, but you can add to it. So it was, I went to a school there. It was called Blanche McDonald in downtown Vancouver. And so it was a lot of fun, actually. So, I'd drive some days and I'd come home from school having a bald cap on my head and things like that. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
Were you able, like, once you finished, were you able to get any experience on any like shows or?
No, it's
movies or
funny.
anything?
We had actually finished school at the same time, so then we decided we wanted to leave. But when we came to Fort McMurray, I kind of played around at Keanu Theater, just helping them when they would do their shows and stuff, just doing some makeup there and helping them out there. So that was a lot of fun. So, but did I ever work on a TV set? No, I did
No.
not. No.
But
No.
you got to put your skills to use at Keanu then.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really interesting.
Well, and it makes it interesting at Halloween and stuff. So
No
lots
doubt.
of fun, and so.
You
Yeah.
probably like do all the makeup for all the kids and your family members, make them look really like bloody and beat up.
We did some fun things. So yeah, when the kids were younger. So yeah, I have the skill. I mean, I have. It's been a long time since I've done it. So I mean, I'm not doing it all the time and growing from it, but I mean, I can do it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm going to stay on this topic for a bit because it's really fascinating to me. So, what was your passion to get into that? Like, obviously, you went to school for that specifically. How did that all come to?
I was in Vancouver and I was trying to find out what I wanted to do, and I was going to college at the time, and I was trying to find something that I really took my attention. And I always enjoyed makeup and things like that. So I had done some research about it and found out about the school. So and I went there and really met some cool people. Like it was a small class. I think there was 12 of us in the class, but everyone was super creative and we just had a lot of fun there. But it was just something that I always enjoyed and intrigued me.
That's amazing. Okay. So now you come to Fort McMurray, you transition into real estate.
No, I actually, well, actually, when I came here, I was searching for a job, and I ended up working with Shallifer Appraisals.
Okay.
It's now it's Shallifer and Denis Appraisals, but actually, I worked with Rob, who owns it now. He's still there, and I worked with him, and it was a small office. It was just me, him, and Roland Shallifer, and actually Marion Berry, who runs Royal LePage. So we
Right.
just, yeah. So I worked there for a few years, and then I got pregnant with my daughters. I had my twin daughters, Emily and Mallory. And so I'd left for a year, and then after that year, I was like, well, I got to do something. But it was for our family, when you have small children like that. I was like, what can I do? So I decided to go work at Earls restaurant here in Fort McMurray. So I waitressed there for years, and I became the night leader there. I was a manager and stuff. But then I went back to, I preferred the serving side of things, and so I did that for several years before I became a realtor.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
that was a lot of fun. But people, when I was there, I guess people thought I was a good waitress, and people would encourage me, like, because they always say if you're a great waitress, you'd make a really great realtor.
Okay.
So I think from a multitasking kind of point of view. So I had a few people ask me, and then finally my brother Colin had said to me, why don't you take the real estate course? And I said, well, I couldn't really afford to at the time. And he said to me, well, I'll pay for it for you, and when you sell your first house, you can pay me back. I don't think
Nice.
I ever did pay him back. But
And nor should you. That's what bigger brothers are for. Yeah, my sister, we were joking about this a few months ago. I don't think she's ever paid for a meal that we went out for.
Oh yeah.
And then she's like, no, 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 no. One time I did pay for McDonald's. And I'm like, okay, yes. In your 34 years on the planet, you've paid for McDonald's once. Like, so yeah, don't pay him back.
All right.
Yeah. So you've transitioned into real estate, and you've done an extremely good job at that transition. You are like one of the top real estate brokers in Fort McMurray year after year after year. What do you attribute that success to?
I really enjoy building relationships, but something about me is I'm a really competitive person. So I really think to become a really good real estate agent that you have to be competitive. And that's really what drives me every day to get out of bed is just to stay on top, is just being competitive and, is working hard. But, just building good relationships with people, being friendly, for me, I love going out and seeing people I know or people I've sold houses for, and just hearing from them, or or someone giving my name. Someone I always ask, who gave you my name, and they'll say, oh, you sold her. I love those relationships. So, but all in all, for me, I think it was just that my competitive drive, and
Yeah.
it's something that's instilled in my brothers and I. Like, as you might know, my younger brother played in NHL hockey, and
Right.
my brother Colin's very competitive as well. So that's our drive to keep going.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Now, in regards to real estate, obviously this year is a little bit more different.
Hmm.
For somebody who's interested in potentially like purchasing or selling a home
Hmm.
in this climate, what are some tips or recommendations you can give to them?
Well, it's been, obviously challenging, but it's also been a really neat kind of learning curve too, because, the thing about real estate is it's always a bit of a roller coaster ride. So every day is not the same thing. So that's always what keeps me going too, because it's always changing. Something's changing. But, this is, for sellers, we've kind of laid it on the line, just, what are your wants? Here's what's required. But what is there something over and above that you want to keep your family safe? And some people have some things that they want done, others don't have any. So everybody's kind of on their own feel for the whole COVID thing. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. But with buyers, again, it's just asking the questions. If they've been out of the country, are they sick, things like that. So just keeping everybody safe.
Yeah.
So we're required with buyers, to wear masks. We're only allowed bringing 2 people into the home at the same time. So different things like that. So it really eases a lot of the seller's mind. Every realtor in this town has done just a fantastic job, I think, of keeping everyone safe and being professional about it. And that's the key. And that's one thing, that again, I love about being a realtor here, is that actually all us realtors in Fort McMurray have a really good relationship with each other, which I think is super important. I like getting along with everyone, and we're a small knit community, so it's always great. You can have a chat, or even go for a coffee with someone else. Just because they don't work at Coldwell Banker doesn't mean we can't be friends,
Right.
So,
That's it.
that's what I love most about it. But yeah, everybody's here has done a really great job of keeping everyone safe and protecting sellers and buyers on both sides.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, you chose to move to Fort McMurray. Most people, if you said they were in Vancouver, would say, like, what are you doing? You should have stayed there. But you moved here for opportunity, and you had a family, and you've done well in real estate, and you're still here. What about Fort McMurray keeps you still here?
Oh boy, you know what? It's again, when I came, I did have really a 2-year plan in the like most people come. I wanted a smaller town. I was thinking that maybe I'd go back to a place where I grew up, Fort St. John, another smaller town, or Grand Prairie where my mother was at the time. But it just grew here and flourished, and the opportunity and what Fort McMurray has given me and my family, I could never have gotten anywhere else. I love Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray is my home. It kind of bothers me a little bit when people speak not well of Fort McMurray, because it's just not true. And in my real estate career, I see so many people, like people coming to town, and then they're coming and they say, Fort McMurray, oh my God, I've heard so many horrid things, but now I'm here. This doesn't make sense. And I have also had people, when I'm selling their home and they're being transferred out of Fort McMurray, most of them are saying, I don't want to go. We love the community. We love the people here. Often I hear so much when people come to town, they're like, the people are so friendly here. Yeah. Like it's crazy. Like people are just so friendly. You go to the grocery store, people wave, if somebody needs a park spot, they can go ahead, and I just love that feel about it. And for me now, I mean, my daughters are grown. I have adult daughters. They're 22 years old. I have a granddaughter that is 5 months old. So her name's Dior. She's the cutest little button. So, that keeps me in Fort McMurray. Plus I love my job, so this, where else can I go and have all that?
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
Now, I might be ruining one of Tanner's questions. He has a segment where he asks like random stuff, which I love. But you said you worked at Earls.
Yep.
So Earls, hands down, is one of my favorite restaurants to go to. So much so when I leave the community, I find myself at Earls outside of Fort McMurray.
Oh, didn't we run into each other
We
in
did.
Earls in West Edmonton?
That is correct. So my question, Tanner, I apologize ahead of time if you wrote this down as one of yours. What's your go-to meal at Earls?
Oh gosh, the food is so good, and that's what always keeps coming back, and again, like, to honk their horn, like the fresh food there. Their food is incredible. I even have the Earls recipe cookbook at my house, but my favorite is definitely probably the black and Cajun chicken, whether I have it on a Caesar salad or if I have the chicken and ribs with the warm potato salad.
Right.
Yum.
Delicious.
Amazing.
Delicious.
Amazing. They have so many great things on their menu before that aren't there, but I love that I have it in the cookbook, that I cook it at home. So it's.
So is this a cookbook that anybody can get their hands on? Really?
Yeah, it's the Earls recipe cookbook. They were selling it at one point there at the front, but yeah, you can get it. It has all the recipes, their dips, everything.
Really?
Shout
Even
out for
downtown.
another free thing Elliot wants.
Yeah, exactly. I did not know this. Like you said, they menus evolve, obviously.
Yeah.
And there are some things from years ago, like they had this like seafood pasta back in the day. Amazing.
Yeah.
And if that's in there, I got to get my hands on this cookbook.
I'll have a look for you.
Okay, cool. All right. On that note, we're going to do our segment. It's Tanner's segment. It's called the Mac City Minute.
All right.
He's going to ask you some questions, 5 in total.
Okay.
All you got to do is do your best to answer them.
All right.
Okay, sweet.
Let's go.
Tanner, you're up, my man.
All right, question number 1. Why should people buy a house from you rather than your brother Colin?
Colin's a great realtor too, and I learned a lot from him. So in saying that, you could, you'd have the best of both worlds using both of us. But Colin, I'm in less of a hurry than Colin, I find. So I often, if I've looked after Colin's work, I go into people's homes. They're like, oh, my brother Colin, if you've ever met him, he vibrates. He's like, I'll sit and have a cup of tea.
Yeah.
I'm also a woman. So I think there's a big difference between woman and man, because a woman is more, I care about your life. I want to hear what you have to, I want to learn about you, and how was your day, whereas, Colin's strictly, he's business. He's great at it. It's, but I guess that's why. But
Yeah. You have the woman's touch.
yes, thank you.
There you go.
Question number 2 for you. What is your favorite place to shop in Fort McMurray that doesn't exist anymore?
Oh, actually, I would have to say Bob Barrett's men's apparel because, if I'm looking for a gift for my brothers and stuff, that was always a great go-to for me. Unfortunately, it's not here anymore, but I always loved going in there. Some nice men's clothing, even though it wasn't for myself. I enjoyed that store.
There you go.
Question number 3. Spending your summers up here, what is your fondest waterways memory?
You know what? It's definitely doing a float. Yeah, a float is amazing. Like, it's if you've ever done it, I mean, it can be super quick or it can be long. And you know what? I always tried to do it on my birthday. My birthday's in July 14th, so it's usually nice weather. But man, that's so great. And you float by people and stuff. But it's if you haven't tried that, it's definitely worth a try here.
Question number 4 for you. What is it like being part of a family that's synonymous with Fort McMurray?
It's fun. It's I look back and so many people, I go to people's houses and they talk about me and my dad. They're like, oh, I knew your dad. Your dad used to be on city council. Your dad was this. And so we've kind of evolved through the years, but we've carried still a legacy. And I think that's awesome. And, is that we're good, honest, ethical business people in town, and that we really care about the community and support the community. So, I think it's neat.
The last question for you today. How is raising kids in Fort McMurray now, or when you did, different from being a kid in Fort McMurray?
Oh, there wasn't a lot of changes because my girls were born in '98. So to be honest, my options to take my kids anywhere in Fort McMurray at that time, because infrastructure just wasn't as good as it is now, because there's so many options, there was just the YMCA. Mac Island hadn't even been expanded and built. But one of our favorite places to go was a community-built park down in Grayling Terrace. I used to take them down there all the time. They had a little spray park there, and that was built directly from the people in that community. And we used to love that park. So that's where I spent most of my summers with my daughters.
That park is still there.
Yeah, it's great.
Those have been your 5 questions.
All right. See, that was painless.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that water park is a banger. That was a cool thing when they implemented it, for sure.
Yeah, I was waiting for actually someone to come along and say we weren't allowed to come in here. We used to go as one of the things when I had my daughters, what I loved is that we had a mom's group. I met so many great people in that group, but we used to all congregate to that park, and yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, it's cool to see all the neat things that Fort McMurray over the years has implemented. I remember that was one, the water park, but then the Haxton Center down by Borealis Park.
Yeah.
And then they put like the outdoor volleyball court, basketball court, and not anymore because I'm an old man now. Back in the day, the skate park that's there. I just remember that come to town being like, man, we're official to have a skate park in Fort McMurray.
Yeah.
So yeah, over the years, definitely some great expansion in this community.
So many things. Like, I mean, now I'm going to be able to enjoy it with my granddaughter, and but we've came so far, and even then it was great. We still had a good time, but yeah, Fort McMurray has so much to offer families.
Yeah. Before I let you go, let's talk about your granddaughter for a second.
Okay.
So my parents, who are definitely watching this, they tune into every episode. So thank you, Mom and Dad. I have really supportive parents.
Shout out to all of our mom and dads. They're all great.
That is true. Thank you, Taryn. They when they raised me, I'm going to say they raised me under a dictatorship. Okay. They were super strict. To say they were strict is an understatement. Now I have a child, and this kid can do no wrong and gets away with murder. And sometimes my dad in particular says, hey, be easy on the kid. And I look at him being like, excuse me? It's shocking. So as a grandparent, do you feel you've lightened up a bit, or are you on the same page as you were as their mother?
I was always a pretty lax mother. I'm always live a give and take. So, if you follow the rules, but if you break them and you need to be reined back in, you got to build that trust again. So I was always pretty lax with my kids. Also, I was quite a young mother, but My granddaughter, oh, I'm sure she melts my heart. So I mean, she's gonna have whatever she wants. So there's no worry of that. No, there'll be no yelling at Dior.
Okay, she's spoiled. She's grandma's girl.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Nanny, I'm a nanny, or you can call me Glamma.
Oh, I like that. Everybody has their different name that they want.
Yeah.
So did you inherit that name, or did you choose
Yeah, my
that?
mother was a nanny, and
Okay.
then my mother's mother was a nanny to me. So because we're born in Nova Scotia, that's kind of a Nova Scotia thing. How Newfoundlanders, they use nan
Right.
in Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick, a lot of times it's nanny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay. On that note, we are at the end of
Awesome.
our
Thanks
time
for
together.
having me.
Thank
That's
you for
awesome.
coming.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do before you leave, though, is please, you have a business in town, obviously, you're a real estate agent. Tell people at home how they can get in contact with you.
Well, my number is 780-714-4156. I do have a website, which is Lisa Sells YMM, YMM being Fort McMurray, of course. Also, feel free to send me text, email, whatever works. But do remember, everything I touch turns to sold.
Oh, I like that. That is good. That is really good. That's good. Okay. Yeah. Long story short, that was awesome. Good little, yeah. Okay, well, everybody at home, once again, Elliot Pierre, the Mac City Morning Show. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Lisa for coming and being a guest. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
We'll be here tomorrow and hopefully to see you then as well. Have a nice day. Peace.